The MPs request an urgent meeting with security ministers after threats to life warnings given to UK Sikhs. We're going to read into this exclusive from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is REGANELITE here with an exclusive from Sky News with the headline: the MPs are requesting an urgent meeting with Security Minister after threats to life warnings given to UK Sikhs. There are growing concerns about India's attitude towards Sikh community worldwide. The government in India dislikes the Kashmir movement, which wants a free Sikh state to be established. Now, I want to put some context in here before I give you the full lowdown. So I've covered this before, but I'm just going to read this part before we read the rest of the article here. Canada claims India may be involved in the death of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was shot dead outside a temple in Vancouver area of June 2023. Now, he was a prominent Sikh, a very, very popular one, and obviously his death caused a lot of controversy, of course. Now, whether or not it was by the Indian government or not, we don't know, but that's what Canada claimed. We don't know that for sure. Now, since then, it has been clear that Sikhs are concerned. I'm getting the feeling that the way that this has been written, it's almost like, in the ways, if you look back to how Israel had its own state and its own establishment. I guess the question that I have for people in the comments is, should the Sikhs have their own state? Should they have their own establishment? I think that's a question that I really would like people to be as open and honest as you guys can be in the comments. And should that state be a piece of India? Free from India? Because I don't want to disparage anyone, but I think it may be something worth looking at, talking about it. Whether or not we do it is another matter. Now, obviously, that's a world issue, and the main topic of this discussion is about the Sikhs in the UK and the threats that they have to themselves, on themselves. And I want to put this very clearly as I can out there. I in no way, in any way, shape or form, want any discrimination whatsoever towards UK Sikhs. They should be allowed to be given, if they want, they should be allowed to give them the same fundamental rights as any other person, not just in the UK but worldwide, regardless of their religious beliefs, their ideologies, whatsoever. No different than Israelis, people in Israel, and Muslims with their beliefs. Whatever religion, ideology that you have, as long as it is not an extreme rhetoric one, from certain extremisms, shall we say, are not welcomed on this channel. Just going to put that out there. But it is something that has been discussed, but has been silent. And India have been very keen to keep any kind of talk of a Sikh state down. But we do have quite a strong Indian community here in the UK. There's no question about that. I've even worked in my time, guys. I've worked with some very lovely people from India, of some wonderful history, and they've been very nice and very good to me. I've not personally come to know any UK Sikhs myself personally, but I will say, for those who I've worked with who have come from India and Indian backgrounds, they were very nice and very good to me, as I have been to them, and I don't have any issue with them whatsoever. And I think that religion obviously does have a negative impact in certain conflicts as well. Because of what's things that we happen and see in the world, definitely has an impact on this. And I just want a solution to be made sure that UK Sikhs, which is what the topic of this discussion is, are given assurances that they're going to be looked after here in the UK, and they should be, regardless of what your religion or beliefs are. We are Britain, the United Kingdom, is a multicultural country, multicultural of 4 nations, and that's what we are. That's what I generally believe. You may disagree. You may think that may not be the case, and that's your opinion. You're entitled to that. But that's what I generally believe, guys. So let's read into this to get a better understanding of things. So a cross-party group of parliamentarians has requested an urgent meeting with the Security Minister Tom Tugendhat following reports of threat-to-life warnings being given to British Sikhs. It comes following increasing concern about the treatment of Sikhs worldwide by the current administration in India. Canada claims India may be involved in the death of Hardeep Singh Nijjar, who was shot dead outside of a temple in Vancouver area of June 2023. The US Department of Justice last year alleged an Indian government official directed the unsuccessful plot to assassinate a Sikh activist in New York City. There are also calls for the UK for an investigation into the death of a Sikh activist, Avtar Singh Khanda, who died in Birmingham after a sudden illness last year. West Midlands Police found no suspicious circumstances. Mr. Khada's family want another investigation to take place. All three activists were on the hit list that appears on the news in India, according to the politicians. In a letter seen by Sky News, Labour MPs Pierre Cargill, Afal Khan and Temiris C. Dusky, if I mispronounce any of the names, I apologise now in advance, alongside Conservative Caroline Noakes and SNP Christine Ulrich and Martin Dorothy Hughes, all wrote to Tugendhat alongside Lord Tom Watson. Mr. Shell, who is also a shadow minister, Mr. Delhi, had earlier asked the government in the House of Commons what they were doing to ensure the safety and security of British Sikhs. In a letter to Tom Tugendhat this week, it was reported that several Sikhs living in Britain have been handed ominous notices by the police warning them of their threats against their lives. This comes amid increased tensions between the Indian government and its supporters and Sikh separatist activists, following the news of the alleged extrajudicial killing of Sikh activist Hardeep Singh Nijjar in Canada and the plot by an Indian government employee to kill the Sikh attorney and activist Galwamp Singh Khanda on US soil last year. We are increasingly concerned by the stories that are being raised with us by our constituencies and are seeking reassurances from the government that it is taking appropriate steps to support and protect the British Sikh community from any unlawful threats or attacks. You may be aware that last year an intelligence hit list appeared on India's broadcast news naming 20 Sikhs in the Disponia as enemies of the state, including the now deceased Hardeep Singh Nijjar as well as 6 British Sikhs. Several of these figures have received threats, harassment and intimidation since with at least some under police protection in the UK. The sudden and untimely death of Avtar Singh Khanda in Birmingham last year, who had also been threatened and accused of India's media of pulling down the tricolour in the protests of the Indian High Commission despite a Metropolitan Police investigation finding otherwise, has also fuelled our concerns. The letter adds that we strongly believe that the threats of the lives of anyone regardless of religion and belief is abhorrent and must be met with a strong condemnation of action to identify and bring perpetrators to justice. I don't think anyone here is going to argue with that comment. Members of the British Sikh community have expressed increasingly concern that voicing their political views will make them targets, and we do not believe that it's acceptable in a liberal and proudly multicultural democracy as ours. This is one of the growing things that is happening, not just I believe for the British Sikh community, but I believe this is happening in a lot of communities and a lot of things about people being able to express their political views without knowing the consequences of their actions, of their words. That can come back to bite them simply by what they say, putting it on video, what they tweet. It can really come back to haunt you when you are not careful. And there's no question that I've said things on my channel that may come back to haunt me too. But I say, at the end of the day, you are entitled to your opinion. But it doesn't mean I say I have to agree with you. But I think those who have political views should be allowed to express them freely. Not to but I do believe there is a line, especially when it comes to certain extremisms. I think there is that line, and we know the line that most of us are talking about. But they should be allowed to express their political views, even if you fundamentally disagree with them. We are therefore writing to request an urgent meeting about threats against the British Sikh community's leaders and activists, and to seek your reassurances that the government is treating this issue with all seriousness and merit. According to Sky's India reporter Neville Lavazas, the Kazakh movement, a campaign to have an independent separatist homeland for the Sikhs in India, is a sensitive topic. Yeah, like I said, it's a very sensitive topic. there's they don't want nothing like this, India, and they're going to clamp down hard on it. The talk of it, it's a very delicate thing. The movement has died in India, according to Lazarus, but has survived in the West, and in particular with large Sikh diaspora in Canada. He said there are regular referendums on Khalistan organised in Western countries, much to the disdain of the Indian government. Narendra Modi's ruling Bharatiya Janata Party is widely seen as a Hindu nationalist movement. A diplomatic row over the matter between the UK and India would further complicate the ongoing negotiations for a free trade agreement. That will also play a part in this talk too, but India last year asked Britain to increase the monitoring of Sikhs in the UK following violent scenes at the Indian High Commission in London, claiming the UK asylum system was being misused. Jas Sikh, an advisor to the Sikh Federation UK, said at the time, "It's very concerning that the UK government is considering any action on the behalf of a foreign government, all of which is designed to remove democratic civil liberties of UK residents. It is the legal rights of individuals to campaign for an independent homeland, whether that is in UK or abroad. But there were hopes at one point that discussion could conclude this year, but it is now thought an agreement will not be reached before the next election." Another major sticking point to the issue of visas and Indian workers being able to access the UK market. A government spokesperson said the UK is proud of our diverse communities and British Sikhs can contribute immensely to the strength of our society. We continually assess potential threats in the UK and take the protection of individual rights, freedoms and safety in the UK very seriously. Obviously, I agree with those. Obviously, I hope to say that I agree with those statements. But the fact that India have asked Britain to increase the monitoring of Sikhs is a very concerning thing to say that to them. I do think that if Britain are to secure some kind of free trade deal with India, there will need to be some kind of concessions, and that may I fear, will drag us into something that we don't want to be a part of. But unfortunately, we may end up being a part of this. This may not be the last time we talk about this, guys. So what do I make of this? I think British Sikhs or Sikhs in other Western countries, including Canada, should be allowed to speak their mind freely without any persecution or threats to their lives. It does concern me that India is trying to assassinate and take these people out simply because of their religious views. That is extremely concerning, and I think they need to be protected. Obviously, I'm not. I don't know the history as well as some of you guys probably watching this video, so feel free to educate me with your thoughts in the comment section down below. But what I will say is that they should be allowed to have their voice, and they should not be silenced simply because they are of a different religion. We're better than that. We really are better than that, and we should take that thought into account, that we shouldn't wish death upon anybody, regardless of who they are and what their beliefs are, guys. So what do you guys make of this story? What do you guys make of UK Sikhs could be in trouble, their lives could be at risk here? What do you guys make of this whole story about India wanting to target certain members? The thought of a free Sikh state to be established, is that something that can be seriously be considered? Give me your overall thoughts about it all in the comment section down below, guys. Interested to hear some of your thoughts and feelings on the matter. Hit the like button, be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media and hit that bell notification icon so you'll be notified of when I upload another video. And if you want to financially support me, you can do so by joining the YouTube membership for just 99p or joining me on Patreon for exclusive content. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.